you're tuning into the Black Half Fire Radio, and you're listening to Massive Wagwan. I'm Joe Robinson, your Jamaican brother there, reaching out to all the massive on the African continent, and you're tuning into the Pan-African Bliss Show with your host, none other than Joby, from Monday to Friday. Stay tuned, and Joe Robinson. We go massive.
Sukari mepanda siwezi, ugali mepanda siwezi, sukuma hakuna siwezi, maisha ni ngumu siwezi, narudi ocha, narudi ocha, narudi ocha, narudi ocha, sukari mepanda siwezi, ugali mepanda siwezi, sukuma hakuna siwezi, maisha ni ngumu siwezi, narudi ocha. Sababu gani zimechazana, mkiwasema tulipigana msiniambie nalo tumeniona, maana nimeamua, narudi, nilikwenda kwa katika mbao hivi ungekuacha siku hizi na chapi walisela sini mafuta ya kimbo nayo bwana ni 50 sabuni ya kanga kwani siku hizi ni matajiri nilikuwa na kunywa chai ya maziwa blubo ya kadogo ilikuwa ni lazima saina punguza Jonas strong bila na hii life mazina unanika inanishinda Deni nilikuwa na magasembe ya pako saina menyana na orego jomajo nilikuwa na stay kwa kete mawe saina stay kwa kete na matombe kama kwake nilikuwa na timu ya mashoro wa super saina duka kama keri mbwa kupunguza yani hata siezi bai hata moto ni ama orinde yani siezi kunywa supu manze joni vile jo pesa onge otire na pesha jo pesa onge ya choke najua narudi wapi
Ocha. Yes, Wagwan people. Karibuni sana to another beautiful episode of the Pan-African Bliss Show. Yes, this is the Black Hot Fire Network radio station, media of the 21st century. It's on a Thursday. TBT all the way. Ocha. Yes, karibuni sana. I hope you guys are doing amazing and good afternoon from my end. It is exactly 16 minutes past 1 p.m. right here in the 254. And of course, karibuni sana to all our amazing diaspora family. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. And of course, I want to give a great thank you, pass my thanks to Sister Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing the link on WhatsApp. And of course, thank you so much for tuning in. Good morning to you too on your end. A rather good afternoon from my end because it is afternoon. But anyway, shout out to everyone with me also on Facebook, on YouTube. Those who shall be catching the show on a replay, hope you guys get to enjoy. And also on Rumble Live on the show page, and also on Spotify. We are everywhere and linked in like the flies. We're everywhere like them flies. But anyway, also to everyone with me on TikTok, karibuni sana. My name is Joby, in case you're here for the first time and wondering where are you, brother, where have you found yourself at? Karibuni sana, and I hope you guys get to enjoy today's conversation. And speaking of today's conversation, we shall be talking about young African leaders. And when we talk about leaders, we're not talking about Senegal, current selected leader. We're not talking about that. That is a politician. We're talking about people like the juntas in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso who have actually they did have a talk. That is them actually seeking on how they can deal with the jihadists, and that they had this talk with Russia despite the US warning them. And that is what we shall be talking about, because I'll be sharing a video regarding that where we can see much more explained from the video, and what are the thoughts that people have regarding this. Also, we shall be talking about what is happening in Togo, which was our major conversation of yesterday. Remember, we did say that Togo actually did change its constitution, that is from presidential nation to a parliamentary system, and which actually we discussed much bit about it, which we saw that this all about the same system never changing, is nothing to do with the people, nothing to do with the country. This is all about the fake power the African leaders claim that they have, and nothing else. But I'm glad to see that the opposition of Togo has rejected this constitutional reform, and he's calling for a protest, that is for the Togolese people to come and protest regarding this. We should also be talking about Nigeria insecurity, which is actually shocking so many people, like the Nigerian Defense Chief, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, who says climate change is part and parcel of why the insecurity are increasing in Nigeria. It is so crazy, so funny, but those are the top conversation we shall be having, also including Uganda, where we can see Museveni has launched the first ever Islamic bank. And I have my thoughts regarding that, because remember, yesterday we were talking about us starting our own currency, and I'll be talking a little bit of Gaddafi and why we had African leaders not backing him up. Karibuni sana once again. Hope you guys get to enjoy the conversation of today. I shall be getting back to the music one more time, still under the TBT. I began with Narudi Ocha by the one and only I can't see his name, Clark. I can't see the other name, but yeah, this is ALC, and I hope you guys get to enjoy. It is called Classic, and we shall be coming back with the quote of the day. Shout out to Freedom Media in the building. Shout out to Mr. Black Hot Fire in the building. Shout out to Keep Ricky in the building. Mwenye gari ya kifahari anasema mimi walking class, afadhali songe mbali, anataka yule walking class, mwenye gari ya kifahari, yeah. Hataki hata nikimwita majina, tupige hodi nikimkaribia, hataki hata nikimwita majina, tupige hodi nikimkaribia, anasema mimi walking class, afadhali songe mbali, anataka yule walking class, mwenye gari ya kifahari, anasema mimi walking class, afadhali songe mbali, anataka yule walking class, mwenye gari ya kifahari, yeah. It is the actions for me on this amazing jam here. Let me tell you the music. That is, we're talking about the 2000, early 2000, that is in the 90s. When you look at most of the jams that were released by then, you could see a lot of actions, a lot of actions in a music video. And that used to be very interesting. That used to make actually the music much more interesting when you're seeing the actions of what the guy is really singing. And it is so amazing. Unlike what you see today, it's all about twerking. But anyway, story for another day. Karibuni sana once again. Hope you guys are doing great to everyone who's joining on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on the radio station app itself. In case this is your first time right here, karibu sana to the Pan-African Bliss Show. My name is Joby, and this is the media of the 21st century. You can find us on your Apples, on your Google Play Store. That is on the Black Fire Network radio station. And in case maybe you're using an iPhone, you have no excuse of saying that we're not on the Apple Store, because you can literally follow us and join us officially. That is under our website, the www.blackoutfirenetwork.com. But if you have the app for all the Android users like me, well, it gives you so much chance literally to explore the network. You go to the website itself, where you're also given the chance to also share amazing thoughts on the social page. We also have our shop page, which you can purchase amazing merchandise that is on the Black Fire Network apparel store, rather on the Black Fire Network store itself, where we have so many categories aligned there for you. You can literally look for home appliances. You can check sports and the entertainment wares. You can check some gifts and crafts. You can check some time pieces and jewelries, luggages, bags, and cases. So kindly ensure that if you find time, rather if you're looking for something that you'd love to literally invest in, or rather you want to shop something for your home, traveling, coming to Africa, probably you're coming to Tanzania, I'm here to literally receive you. Let us know, and of course it shall be delivered to your doorstep. But anyway, karibuni sana once again. My name is Joby, one more time, in case you're here for the first time. And starting straight with what is happening in Africa, I want to start with what was our major conversation of yesterday about Togo. That is them changing the changing the constitution from a presidential nation to a political system. But before I do that, my quote of today says that, let me read my quote of the day. It says, a positive mind, positive vibes. It is a positive Thursday. And I hope and wish you nothing but a great, beautiful day, and enjoy it. Yes, let's start with Togo and what is happening. Despite yesterday seeing that Togo did change its constitution, where we can see that they are moving from a presidential nation to a parliamentary system. The Togo opposition has rejected this constitutional and is calling for a protest. That is for the Togolese people to take it to the streets. And I want to share this just very quickly as we get to move on. I hope my video plays. If it doesn't, I shall just be reading the article.
Thank you. Thank you.
Activists and opposition leaders in Togo called on Wednesday for protests to stop the country's president from signing off on a new constitution that would shift the nation from a presidential to a parliamentary system and could see Faure Gnassingbé extend his rule. Late on Monday, in an assembly dominated by the ruling party, lawmakers passed the new constitution.
Hi, Freedom Media. Hope you're doing amazing. Nice to see you, and karibu sana.
Which scraps universal suffrage to elect the president. However, the mandate of some of these MPs was set to expire late last year. The opposition argues that the constitution only enables these lawmakers to manage urgent and current affairs, and that the constitutional reform demands a referendum. The Catholic Christian bishops have urged the president not to sign the bill into law and called on Faure Gnassingbé to engage in an inclusive political dialogue following the results of the legislative and regional elections scheduled for April 20th. Police on Wednesday broke up a news conference called by the opposition, throwing leaders and journalists out of the venue in Lomé, the capital.
Yeah, so that is what is happening in Togo right now. There is an ongoing demonstration. Actually, as we talk right now, I saw that earlier today, there were police in Togo who have broken up an opposition news conference that was called to address the controversial constitutional reform that was made yesterday. And the parliament voted for a new constitution which changes the presidential system to a parliamentary one. But with less than a month before legislative elections, the opposition fears that change will clear the way, for long-serving president that is Faure, can't pronounce his second name, to remain in power indefinitely. Around 30 police officers armed with tranquilos broke up the gathering called by opposition parties and civil society groups that is yesterday as well. Police said the event in the capital of Lomé was unauthorized, and Nathaniel Olympio, the event organizer, termed the constitutional as a coup that seeks to deprive the Togolese people of the right to choose their president. AFP News was the one giving us this report. And they also say, one of them said that I call on the Togolese people to stand up and stop this disastrous plan. And it is not clear when the changes proposed by lawmakers, mostly from the ruling union, for the public will come into force. So we can see literally there is already demonstrations about this. So we're not sure if it is going to happen, but understanding the Africa politics and the puppets we have, if this is what the Western powers want, or the foreign countries, those who rule and run Africa, if this is what they want it to be done, then that is what shall happen. Because we're talking about West African countries which are literally right now, especially after Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali taking over and ruling their own country. You can see the rest, they're really threatened. We've seen Museveni being threatened also, despite him being literally way far. You know, after Niger literally acquired true democracy. If you guys could notice, we saw Kagame, Museveni, so many African puppets changing their, you know, the people they have appointed in so many areas, even the parliamentarians, the defense forces and all that, the judges, like even in Kenya, we've seen the judges being changed a couple of times and all that. So this is literally a threat. This comes, for me, I see that this is them being threatened. This is them being scared because the youth are waking up. The youth are understanding that African nations are not working. We have politicians who are always in power and who want to overstay actually on the political seat, but there's nothing they fulfill in terms of manifestos. And I want us to observe literally what is going to be happening in Kenya, because you can see the crisis in Kenya getting super worse. I want to see and observe the crisis also in Congo. We've seen Skedi taking over the power again. We have Senegal, which has gone under election, or it has gone for election. That was this past Sunday. We have a young selected politician. We can't call him a leader yet because we don't know if he's going to literally fulfill what the Senegalese people expect. We also expect South Africa to go for election. That is on May, and I'm waiting to see who's going to become the next puppet of South Africa. Basically, what I'm trying to say, if you try copy and paste the Africa politics, it is all the same thing. And every time they feel threatened by the youth, which we see our population is growing massively, and the youth are waking up. Youth are not just on TikTok, on YouTube looking for money anymore. I mean, the minority of those who have woken up, I don't want to say the majority, the minority of those who have woken up and understand what is happening. They are really seeking for true leadership when it comes to the African countries. So I feel like that is what Togo is literally threatened about. And they won't stop. They won't stop this. That is actually nothing. When they call it a coup, this is not a coup really. This is nothing close to a coup. I feel like they are misunderstanding the term a coup. So it is super crazy. But of course, I'll be updating you guys on what is happening in Togo to see if the situation is going to calm down or if the situation is going to worsen. So I'll be here to update you on what is happening. But moving on, this is about Uganda and what is coming from Uganda. Shout out to Museveni, my favorite puppet. Right here in East Africa. he's amazing. Yesterday we did speak about Gaddafi and why we saw so many African leaders not backing him up. That is when he wanted to, as much as he wanted to rule, he wanted to form one African currency. We did speak about, that was the BRICS, and we saw it has no value, serves no value for Africans and all that. We've also spoken about the banks where we know and understand we don't control any of our banks as an African continent. We are ruled, we are monitored, we are dictated to, or even how to handle our funds, where we should actually, how and when we should actually use it. But I can see that on this other end, that is in Uganda, Museveni has launched Uganda's first ever Islamic bank. Shout out to Museveni. And they're saying that Uganda President Yoweri Museveni has officially launched the country's first ever interest-free commercial Islamic bank. The Islam Bank Limited, a subsidiary of a Djibouti-based bank, is the first institution to offer Islamic financing in the country. And Mr. Museveni said that the institution has or had a potential to significantly contribute to the development of the country's financial sector and attract more Muslim investors. And he also says, I encourage you to fight poverty and create wealth. In September last year, the Salam Salam Bank was granted its first Islamic banking license after the Uganda Parliament passed legislation authorizing Islamic banking, which Mr. Museveni signed into law, and it is not allowed to pay and receive interest in Islamic bank, but rather it is based on profit sharing. Well, this is crazy. This is beneficial. I'll say this is very beneficial to the Djibouti people, but at the same time, how is this beneficial to the Ugandans? Of course, it's not. What profit? And what encouragement does he speak about fighting poverty? What does this have to do with poverty and creating wealth? When you talk about poverty and creating wealth, or how we can fight poverty and create wealth, Museveni, let us start by you tackling the rate of unemployment in your country. Give people job opportunities. Can you actually first stand, withdraw from a presidential seat? And we don't want no Bobby Wine, no fake Bobby Wine acting like, I am for the people type of nonsense politician, while he's literally out here making deals with Bill Gates and all that. So no. Will you first and foremost start by withdrawing from a presidential seat? Then let the people decide who they can pick as a president? Because it is so sad when you look at most of the deals. Again, this is what I feel like as trapped Africans. If we try to look at most of the deals signed between, let's say, the Arabic countries, the United Arab countries, or maybe these Western powers, it is the same deal that has been as literally, what is the term? I want to use a specific term. It's the same deal that has ensured Africans will never claim independency. Because once you have these controlled banks set up in your country, and it's a deal that we don't know that has been signed for how long, even if Museveni resigns, then we have another president who's going to become a Pan-Africanist, let me assume, in Uganda, and they'd love to get rid of this kind of systems. Then that is where we're going to be actually, again, going into war. That is Africa declaring a war. The moment we're going to actually seek a way how we can get rid of all these banks that have been set up in our countries, it's going to take time. It's going to come with blood being shed. It's not going to become so easy the way people are assuming it is, because we don't control them. And this is why when you look at countries like, let me give an example like Kenya, same with Uganda, probably Rwanda, so many African countries. When we had our first so-called leaders who signed deals with the British governments, the Germans, or whichever government that colonized them, whatever country, the first deals, like giving out our lands, you can see it is so hard for us to even trace back, and most of us do not even know true history of who Jomo Kenyatta was, who Museveni is, and a lot of our first puppets, like even Nelson Mandela, who they were. So I feel like when it comes to Africa and them claiming independency, when it comes to this kind of deals like what Museveni is doing, it's going to be so hard. And this is why we're going to see blood being shed, because if you talk about Pan-Africanism, it's gonna be acquired through a battle. It's not gonna be just given, because these people are not here just for any profit. There's an interest they're seeking. This is more than just a profit for Uganda, which there's no profit. What profit are you making? And the worst part is when he says this is why you're fighting poverty and creating wealth. How is this helpful to Ugandans themselves? That is just the craziest part. I encourage you to fight poverty and wealth. What is that? The bank, you opening a bank that is a subsidiary of Djibouti to our country. Am I supposed to? How is that helpful to me? Are you talking about creating manufacturing companies? Are you talking about creating refining companies and all that? Or are we talking about bringing more systems that are not controlled by us to keep on enslaving us? because that is the situation on this case. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Shout out to you, Jibajaba Karibu Sana. Hope you're doing great. Good day to you too. And have an amazing day as well. And of course, let me know what are your thoughts regarding this. This is what is happening in Uganda. And on this other end, we can see that yesterday they did urge to give honest response in census. That is Uganda. And they're saying Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has urged citizens to make themselves available for the country's census that is supposed to be held on May, and to be truthful when asked the census questions. And he says, when data collectors come to your homes during the census, please provide them with honest answers and questions. This is an order to enable them process the most accurate information about you, your household, institution, and community. Mr. Museveni did say this, adding an accurate response that will enable the government to accurately plan the delivery of public services, which is a lie. Uganda is set to hold the census between 10th and 19th of May, and it is the 6th census in the country histories and the first that will be done digitally. The exercise was postponed from the initially scheduled date in August last year due to financial challenges. International funding cuts linked to Uganda controversial anti-homosexuality law. It's budgeted to cost 134 billion Ugandan Kenyan shillings, and Uganda last census happened in 2014, taking place in 2014, placed the population at 36 million. And the Statistics Agency estimates that the population has grown by 30% since then and now surpasses 45 million. So personally, I've always spoken. I think there's a time I did speak about census. That was, I think, early 2021 or 2023, if I'm not wrong. And I've always been against data collection of African people. Because who's getting this data? In whose hands is the data going to? Because we know very well this is very helpful to the Mzungu. And this is why they get the ability and the chance to come, like Bill Gates again. He comes, funds a lot of money in so many projects, unknown projects. Let's call them unknown projects, so you know how many projects are right here with the Melinda Foundation, Bill Gates Melinda Foundation and all that. But the question is, in whose hands is the data falling to? That is a very big question that Africans for so long should have actually checked on, because we assume it is our president, you know, like he said right here, provide the correct details. This is going to be very helpful. And this is going to help the government to accurately plan the delivery to public services. It is a lie. It is a lie. How many times, because I think it is the same. I don't know if it's the same thing in the whole of the African continent, but I see for Uganda it is the same as Kenya. A census happens after every 10 years. I don't know if it is a worldwide thing, but I know for Kenya and so far I know Uganda, it is after every 10 years. So I think in Kenya it's supposed to be next is in 2029 because it happened last in 2019. So in 2029. But in whose hands? The fact that I have 6 children, why is that concerning to the government? You know, these 6 children are struggling to go to school. Is the government willing to provide or minimize the amount of school fees because I cannot be able to cater school fees for my children? Is that data making sense, or is that data being collected? That the fact I have 5 children, I'm a single mom, let me assume, and I'm unable, and I'm jobless probably. I'm a hustler, someone who's making $2 or $3 a day. I have rent waiting for me. I have bills waiting for me. I have kids waiting for me. I have me waiting for me. So is that data you collecting helpful? And is that going to help the system come and help me or take my kids to school? Or am I going to get a job opportunity? Hell no. So this is a scam, and I feel like it is a high time Africans also to be. I remember when we were in Uganda, my data was collected in Tanzania, sorry. Then when we were in Tanzania, our data was collected in 2021 or 2022, I think. In 2022, we had our data collected because census happened when we were there. And we had to lie, we have children. Katie and I lied, we have children. We have children, like, yo, I said I have 3 kids. Katie said she has 1. Niche, I can't remember the data of Niche, but she also gave some lies over there. I feel like it's a high time we start lying, because, I mean, what is the help? What is the need if it's not reducing the amount of poverty we have as a continent? This is for their own benefit to come and bring the VACCINEs, the big ugali shots. We can see them already declaring that Kenya has the COVID-19. Yeah? So if it is in Kenya, we're going to see the next thing, they're going to be probably, because we know how it starts, probably they're going to say the whole of East Africa is under a pandemic, and they need this amount of, 36 billion Uganda Kenyan shillings, or Uganda shillings, or whatever shillings they're going to give also to Kenya or Tanzania. And then Tanzania, this time Tanzania is going to be Tanzania is going to. But I believe they're very well educated to not fall for the trap, because they knew why Magufuli was opposing the last one. So I believe they will not fall for Samia Suluhu's trap. But that's how we get the funds, through this data collection. They come lie to us. Now we have this outbreak, this population and number. They exaggerate the numbers to get the numbers. That is what they do. They exaggerate the numbers of whatever they are planning to get the actual numbers to be trapped under what they have been planning. So I believe Ugandans should be very careful. I don't know if these people are very well educated enough to understand what is happening or how the world is working, but I hope so. But just a little bit before we get to continue, going back to them opening an Islamic bank in their country, I want to share this video over here of Gaddafi and why he was betrayed. And why we never saw no African leader helping him. No African leader came to literally say, hey, we're backing this as much as, if only, at least we should have seen someone saying that we're only coming to help you and back you up if only you do not rule Africa. Let the African continent be ruled by an African. It cannot be you. It cannot be you. It just cannot be you. But nobody even spoke to even say a word. But I see Kid says that, yes, it is worldwide. So it is after 10 years. Thank you so much for letting me know. I appreciate. And I also see Jiba Jaba says, thoughts. How will the public invest in the bank if they have no employment? Exactly. You should invest in the industrial projects. Exactly. Because even the number one question is, are it even helpful to the Ugandans themselves? That is just the biggest question. I am a Ugandan. This is an Islamic. I have nothing literally, and then understand the African mindset of religion. Excuse me. I am a Christian, and I have a whole Islamic bank opened. How is that helpful to me? Jesus and Allah. That does not work well. That is in me, in my African mentality. Okay. That is just a random thought. I am a Christian, and we have a whole Allah bank opened. How is that? We don't get along. These are two different gods, number one. Then secondly, like you said, that is a very good thought, Jiba Jaba. I am unemployed. What am I going to invest in the bank? And then he's speaking about you tackling poverty and creating wealth. With what? Fingers? Or matoke? Because I don't get it. It is crazy. But let me share this very quickly.
Lockerbie, Gaddafi was brought in from the cold several years ago after giving up his weapons of mass destruction. The United States and other countries lifted sanctions and started doing business with Gaddafi again. Do you feel betrayed by the United States? How do you account for how they are towards you now today?
Of course, it's a betrayal, a big betrayal. And there are no manners. It's silliness, beyond silliness, that the world can base their decisions on media reports. Is it possible that the world's decisions are being based on these reports? Political decisions.
Well, I don't know if at this point, just a quick point or, quick thought. I don't know if Gaddafi, when he was giving this speech, that if he knew the cat with the small hats, him questioning about information being misinterpreted like they always do, or information being given out wrongly? Did he know that the people he was trying to battle are the same people who control media? I bet he did, I bet he didn't.
They should be looking for the truth of what is happening on the ground in Libya, then make their decisions.
We asked him what he thought of President Obama.
My opinion I've said before on many occasions. I believe he was a good young man. I supported his international policies, and the relationship between the two countries has changed. But it seems he's been misinformed, and I can't believe the statements he has made.
He said he thought outside powers wanted to recolonize Libya, and he vowed to fight off any invaders alongside the Libyan people.
So yeah, that is what is happening. And of course, we had no African coon backing him up, none of them. But another fact that we're still, and I believe majority of us do know right here on the chat, but the fact that most of the Africans are also missing is that the Zionists who are attacking Haiti, Palestinians, which were crying so hard about, calling for justice on, is the same people who are in Sudan, South Sudan. The same people are in Congo. Let this video explain
what's happening in Haiti and in the Congo and other places in the global south is directly related to what's happening in Palestine. I saw this creator's video connecting the dots, which is exactly what we say here at the Slow Factory, and I went down a rabbit hole.
This is the man who's funding the mercenaries in Haiti. His name is Gilbert Bigio. He's the richest man on the island and is known as Haiti's only billionaire. He's been exposed several times for arms trafficking, human rights violations, and a lot of other shit.
So I looked him up, and this is a tweet by That Girl Casey1. Gilbert Bigio is an Israeli billionaire. This is an article in the New Republic titled "The Billionaire Oligarch Who's Enabling Haiti's Murderous Gangs." Now, I'm not saying the onus is on this one man on the crisis in Haiti, because clearly France and the United States have occupied Haiti since their independence in 1804. Colonizers don't colonize places that aren't rich with resources. That creator also mentions Dan Gertler.
Colonizers don't colonize places that are not rich of resources. Africans, you had that?
And this is an article in The Economist. But across Africa, his name has long resounded controversially, especially in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Dan Gertler, age 48, now this article is 2 years old, the scion of a diamond trading family, began doing business there in the 1990s and has since bought lucrative mining concessions. Now, this explains why Israel is one of the largest diamond exporters in the world with no mines there. What's happening in Haiti and the Congo and most of the global south and the global north is directly tied to what's happening in Palestine, because believe it or not, colonization costs a lot of money. We just posted this on our Instagram feed, and it's so important to understand the interconnectedness of our oppression, because the answer to our liberation is there. Free Haiti, free Congo, free Palestine, free the world.
Yeah, so that's the video over there. So the same people we talk about blaming them. Oh, stop killing Palestinians. Do we know that they are the same people, who are funding the same destruction in Haiti, in South Sudan, in Congo, literally all of the African continent? And we need to be very educated, because sadly, like I was saying yesterday, Africans, we think and worship the Israelites, because that is just the truth. When you go to these churches, actually you'll find that majority of the people, the same way we've had the rest of the media and some politicians, some puppets, blaming blaming Palestinians of attacking Israel. You'll find that some Africans are also in defense of that, claiming that Palestinians are on the wrong, not the Israelites. So there's so much misinformation outside there, and people need to be very well educated on what is happening on the ground. You need to be very well informed with your enemy. Who are you working with? Who are you sleeping with? Who are you laughing with? Who are you eating with? Who are you literally introducing to your culture? Who are you introducing in your life. We need to be checking on such kind of things so we can avoid a lot of traps. But as we get to move on, I see Jibajaba also earlier said you agree that is on the matter of sensors and data collection, and you said US is 10 years too. Thank you so much for letting me know. And you're saying that my grocer put up the plastic shield at the register last week, and this ugali is a scam to keep people stirred up. Exactly. And if people are not careful, especially in the African continent, we might be trapped again because our population is growing crazy. That is no cap. You can see Nigeria, we have 70%. Literally, let's just say 80% probably, of the population in Nigeria, which is the most populated country in Africa. It is the youth and the young people. And so it's the rest of the African countries. The highest percentage of what we have here are the youths. And the highest percentage, again, of the same youths are unemployed. The same highest percentage of these youths, majority, are uneducated and know or neither understand the true fact of our enemy. So it is so easy to fall under the same traps if they come with another pandemic, another agenda. If you're not careful, we might be trapped if you're not careful. But moving on is about Nigeria, and this is very, very exciting. Nigeria Defense Force, that is the Defense Chief, General Christopher Gwambin Musa, has come forth to speak about the rising cases of insecurity in Nigeria. Remember, for the last 3 weeks, I think right now it's 3 weeks, we've had a mass abduction and kidnappings that have been happening and conducted in Nigeria in 14 regions, where we've seen 14 schools being actually attacked, including students and women from different communities and villages. We saw during the weekend, waking up to Monday, we had 137 students who are released with no ransom paid, and that is after Tinubu said he shall not pay a goddamn dime. So the question that we posed, and something I also saw Demore being very worried about, is how did these people get to walk scot-free with not being raped, not being injured, no ransoms paid? And one of the gang leaders, or the kidnappers leaders, say that he's not involved. He has nothing to do with it. So Tinubu, we need answers. But before you give us answers, we see that your officials have something to say. And one of the things they have to say is that climate change is one of the major issues why insecurity has risen in Nigeria. Make that make sense? Climate change. That is some bullshit I've had in a long time. That is just another level of taking people for a fool that I've seen today. But let me play this.
10 years ago, there was only one region that seemed to be sort of battling insecurity. Now, you could say almost every region is battling some serious insecurity. What do you think is responsible for this rise?
Climate change is a big issue.
You guys, climate change. Just make this make sense. You just be honest. Even if you've not gone to school, climate change and insecurity, how do those two work together? Just make that make sense, for crying out loud. Even if you've not attended no goddamn school, climate change and insecurity combined, working together. How, when, since where? Insane. Crazy.
A lot of issues. I mean, you look at the farmer headers clash we've been having, a lot of people looking for areas to go and graze. It has brought a lot of conflicts here. And then the issues of ethnicity.
If you talk about ethnicity clashes in Nigeria, I'll agree. That will make sense to me. I'm not gonna cap. That would make sense to me. Like, we have insecurity issues and clashes. That will make a lot of sense to me. But just like that, climate change, that is some BS on the highest level, on another level. Okay.
You know, these basic things that we have that have really affected the issue. And then the issue of poverty. Poverty is the most dangerous weapon around. Every
Poverty is there because you
all
are
through the night. Nobody, no harm.
Poverty is there because you've not employed majority of the youths. Like I said, if you look at the percentage of the youths in Nigeria, it's very high. The percentage is very, very high. Lack of employment in Nigeria, not just in Nigeria. We were checking yesterday. We've seen Nigeria, we saw Uganda, we've seen Kenya. It's a copy and paste situation, literally. It is a copy and paste situation. The question is who's to blame for this poverty porn that is in Nigeria? While you guys showcase us how you have mansions, you're living so good, your lives are doing okay. You know, you guys know nothing about poverty. You got Kenyan ladies going crazy about Nigerian men. And then all of a sudden, poverty? I mean, something is not making sense.
And so it's a root shock what is going on. And so people can't really understand, but they should know that there are times like that. For me, Nigeria is a great nation. And for every great nation, you have challenges. These challenges must definitely come. It is what you do with them. And that's why I'm happy that the government is also standing up to it to ensure that it is properly addressed. And all we need is for the citizens to understand that this is not happening in Nigeria alone. We know Chad, Mali, Libya, there are countries that have gone down, but Nigeria will not. And so everybody needs to put hands together, support members of the armed forces and the police, and to ensure that we are able to defeat these insurgents and terrorists. Because what we realize, especially for the terrorists, they are trying to win the hearts and minds of the people to show them that a better alternative to government. And that's why we say good governance. If there's good governance, people will eat, they'll be healthy, they will have schools to go, they will have hospitals.
So you agree there is poor governance? That is our defense chief. That is what basically you're trying to tell us. Thank you for the answer. That is just what we need. That is just what exactly we need. Good governance. And you'll not see any mass kidnapping, any mass abduction. You'll hear no raping cases. People will be so busy. Nobody has time to be literally raping anyone. Because you're busy. You have jobs. You have something to do. So he's just told us a clear answer of what the rest of the Nigerians need to be told. You need good governance. The reason why insecurity is on the rise in Nigeria is not because of climate change. That personally, I tend to disagree with. Yes, I agree people are looking for places to graze, farm, and all that. And that is an Africa problem. That is an Africa situation. That is a global Africa problem. Everyone is looking for a place to graze. But let them not lie to us that climate. What? Climate, what? That is a lie. Ethnicity. We know Nigeria comprises of 250 something. I don't know if right now we have more increased, but right now we know we have 256 ethnic languages or different languages. That is in terms of tribalism. So if you talk about this actually increasing insecurity, I kind of agree with it, because if Nigerians cannot eat jollof rice, all of them, the same way we can eat ugali, all of us, make that make sense. And why wouldn't we fight? why wouldn't we fight? I cannot eat jollof rice. I cannot eat fufu because I come from Igbo, or because I come from, come on. So if you talk about ethnicity in Nigeria, I think that would make a very big sense, where it can increase the rate of insecurity in the country, but not the climate change. The last one is poverty. Like I said, it's because of lack of employment amongst the youths, which are the majority, who are the majority in the country. So that is the main reason why this is on the rise, because everyone is looking for a way they can get money. Everyone is looking for a survival mode. We just saw yesterday the More telling us that we have Nigerians in Mexico. And Joe Mosquito, shout out to you, Karibu Sana. He said that they're selling jollof on the street. That was Jibba Jabba or Joe Mosquito. They're selling jollof on the streets of Mexico. Something very shocking to majority of the people, and understanding the racism over there. I wonder how they're surviving. But shout out to Nigerians. Shout out to my neighbor. Shout out to my neighbor. It's crazy, man. But that is what is happening in Nigeria. And I wish Tinubu all the best, but there's something I think he had said earlier. Let me see if I can find the article. There's something he had mentioned earlier after all this yeah, so yeah, that is after the matters. We've seen that also the crisis of living, that is the cost of living is very high in Nigeria, and which has become so hard for them to tackle. We've seen Tinubu, that is coming from 1st of April. He said he shall be cancelling all the foreign trips of all the members of parliament, literally every politician. None of them should be going for foreign trips. He's cutting all of those trips after him spending a lot of funds, because remember, in 6 months Tinubu had spent, that is 3.4 billion Nigerian money, or whatever shillings they're calling, or whatever they call the naira. That is 130, that 3.4 billion naira, if that is how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Yeah. And he went ahead and now said that he's going to be dismissing all the foreign trips. We saw him 2 weeks ago having all airports named after him because of developing the country. And then you tell me African puppets are not a joke, or Africa politics is not a joke. It is a joke, because it is a joke. But we can see, despite them dealing with the matters of insecurity, they're also tackling the issue of economy. And we can see Tinubu has come out to say that he's forming a team to find solution for the ailing economy. So they're saying the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has formed a task force to come up with emergency solutions to try and fix the country's ailing economy. And the prices of food and fuel have shot up, but many are struggling as their wages are not keeping up with the changes. The severe economic difficulties have led to widespread hardship and mounted pressure on Mr. Tinubu administration, and some have pointed to the government dropping the fuel subsidy and allowing the currency, the naira, to devalue being among the cause of problems. But the authorities have argued that reforming the economy is essential for the future of the country. And this actually happened the same time we had our currency appreciating. The Nigerian currency also did start appreciating. But if you try look at the cost of things, the cost of leave me alone, kid. Stop distracting me. I can see your comment. Yeah, so we can see you distracted me. You distracted me with the bush meat. We can see that despite the currency appreciating, that is in Kenya, Nigeria, and I don't know which other countries facing the same situation, food commodity, fuel, it has not gone down. It is still very high, and people are really struggling so hard. Normally, when we do actually here shopping for the studio for $60 or even $55, it is always a lot. But yesterday we did shopping, but we couldn't even like literally amount, get everything the way we wish to, or the way we do, because things are going super crazy high. It is insane. And shout out to Tinubu for creating a team to tackle this. And you ask why people are eating bushmeat. I mean, that is what Kit is saying. I mean, you ask why they're eating bushmeat, makes a whole lot of sense. But habari yangu ni njema, Jerome Mosquito. Natumai yako iko salama, ama wewe uko mwema. Jerome Mosquito says that, Joby, what is the stuff in the corner of your eye? Is that the new fashion with you girls now? This is me fashion, not girls fashion. This is Joby fashion, okay? This is a love makeup, like a love whatever. Just yeah. You're so noisy. You're so nosy, yeah? You're so nosy. But anyway, yeah, you can see it's just makeup. Literally nothing else. Just beautifying myself. But I also see you say Nigerians in Mexico sounds like a movie. I know. They should film that. They should bring us an episode of that. I'd love to see their survival mode, personally. Like, how are they surviving? With all the racism. Is there jollof rice in Mexico? Is there fufu in Mexico? I bet they're struggling so hard to eat some bugs, some bugs and all that. And you're also saying that they use the Naira. Thank you so much. Yes, that is what I was confirming. And you're also saying time to eat bushmeat, Joby. I know that's right, Kate. And shout out to you, Peter One. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. And Karibu Sana. Shout out to Sister Stinovia in the building. I appreciate you. Shout out to Smart J with us also in the building. You're saying if you can join the conversation. You came in late, Monday. If you want to actually join the conversation, come in on time. The moment I'm just starting, ask the link, because I can't share the link in between 40 minutes or the 50th. That is the 50th minute or my 10 the show minute. So if you're not joining the conversation, kindly come early. That is a Smart J, and I'll be linking the link to you for you to join StreamYard immediately. And I also see you saying that yeah, he knew he was playing the role like any actor. In your opinion, that is true, Jiba Jaba. And you're also saying that yep, Bingo, Bigo is a Bigo, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Bigo is a Sephardic small heart linked to Pandora Papers and Epstein. I'm not shocked, man. I'm not shocked. That is just one among who we can see being exposed. I mean, the ones who really, really control and run and fund these wars, we don't see them anywhere being mentioned. As much as right now we can see the Rockefellers and the Rothschild being mentioned, we don't know who they are. I mean, do anyone know? Do you, Kit, know who they are? As much as we see some small links to the family members, and we don't get to see the people who really run and control the world. So this is just the bare minimum of what they're trying to tell us, to link us to the truth. That is what I'm trying to get from here. There's always someone, of course, to blame for everything. So they will bring the picture of what you guys need to hear and see. But you will not you'll not be able to see the true small cats with the small heads. I believe that is nowhere. It's nowhere possible. And if it is going to be possible, I'm here to see. I hope I'm going to be alive. But I also see you saying that's awful. Of course it is. Jiba Jaba, you're saying that y'all been on Nigeria's neck this week. Tinubu needs to do better. Climate change, OMG. I know. It's crazy. Imagine it. Climate change is the main reason why insecurity is rising in Nigeria. That is the dumbest bullshit I've had in a while. The craziest. I mean, I thought Museveni was funny, but Tinubu is becoming one crazy funny puppet. Despite him being a drug lord, he's becoming one crazy amazing puppet. You know? But anyway, shout out to him. And I also see you saying that, so is he saying tribes are fighting over climate? These officials are fool. That is exactly what he's saying. That is what exactly they are trying to make Nigerians, because that is, like I said, that is a fool me information, because I don't see how else to term it. That is to make you feel like a fool information, or blind you type of information, because you don't know how we control, or rather how the media is run. You've been an African. So yeah, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Climate change, because the rest of the African countries as well are facing climate change. So that is the main reason. And it has to be the main reason. Nothing will change. That is the main reason. Yeah, so he's saying that tribes are fighting over climate. Yep. No, people are fighting because of climate change. That is the mass abduction that is claiming. And I also see Sister Sinovia, peace to you too. And I hope you're doing amazing. You're saying he's a puppet, exactly. And I also see Jiba Jaba says, I don't eat KFC because I'm not from Kentucky. God damn it. I'm not from Kentucky either, but I do take KFC, Jiba Jaba. Excuse me. Excuse me. And I also see Sinovia says he's a danger to the Nigerian people. He is. So was Buhari. And so is the next puppet to come. It's crazy. The most populated country in Africa is the most crazy and dumbest and the poorest. Not the poorest, but it is poor. But I feel like Nigerians somehow are dumb. They're just best in scamming. They only know how to play with computers and girls and women. But when it comes to reality of revolution politics, I don't think these people understand a goddamn thing. That is just my opinion. I wish I had a Nigerian in the building to give me another different thought, but that's how I feel. I feel like they're so dumb. So dumb. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna become friends with my Nigerian neighbor. You know, I don't know. But if I tend to become friends with him, these are some of the questions I'm gonna be asking. Like I'm gonna go all the way in politically. And you guys know me. I record information that I know should be shared on the WhatsApp chat. So I'll do it if I happen to become friends with him. Disclaimer: if I happen to, yeah, if I happen to. So I feel like he is a danger, Sister Sinovia. But at this point, I want to agree with Keith when he says that Nigerians are coons. At this point, I want to say Nigerians are the dangerous one. Because if you can't see the danger in front of you, you are a danger too to the rest of your society. You are a danger to the rest of the people in the African continent. If you come to Kenya and you can't understand the same situation you're facing in Nigeria, the same situation happening in Kenya, then you are dumb. If you can't see things are not working the same way you from where you came from, then something is wrong with you. But maybe any Nigerian in the building can let me know. Shout out to Vincent Okello. Shout out to John Mosquito. Shout out to Ghost in a Suit in the building. Shout out to Notorious. Shout out to Freedom Media in the building. Asanteni sana for tuning in, and I hope you guys are doing great. Shout out to Sister Stinovia, Jiba Jaba, Kay Williams, if you're there listening. Shout out to Smart J. Big up to also Mohammed Isa, that is on Facebook. Karibu sana. And to everyone, I see so many of you in the morning. Kindly hit the like button. Share this amazing conversation with your family and friends. Let them stay educated. And of course, karibuni sana. So many of you in the morning, and I appreciate you so much. But Jiba Jaba also says, jollof tacos and burritos. Who's eating jollof tacos? I asked you that yesterday. Do you think anyone would really love to enjoy some jollof tacos? Nah, personally, pass. I mean, the jollof rice is really nice. Shout out to HR, the messenger. It was really, really nice. I liked it. I want to try now fufu and igusi. That is my next thing. I want to try fufu and igusi. So long as it has no bush meat in it, I'm good. I'll try. No porcupine, no snails, no antelopes, no tortoise. I am okay to try that. Okay? But anything apart from that, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. But I also see Sinovia says, I noticed that the US is part of spending or spelling of his name, or spelling of his name is dangerous. Yeah, he is. Tinubu, mind you, okay, to understand is even more dangerous in Sinovia. Tinubu is the CEO, the chairman, let me see, of ECOWAS. I think he is the CEO of who is the head of ECOWAS? Yeah, so it is, let me see. Tinubu is. Okay, let me see this. So we have the secretary. Who's the head now? Yeah, the chairman is the chairman of authority. That is Tinubu of ECOWAS. So yes, he is dangerous to the people. I agree with you. And of course, mind you, ECOWAS is one of the blocks that have been fighting Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali so hard for them to withdraw and go back to the fake democracy states. Crazy. It is crazy. Shout out to Jay also says, these days I'm too late, but no issue. I will join next time, Ali. Yeah, kindly do that tomorrow, because you'll catch me next time tomorrow here. That is on the Pan-African Bliss show, rather on the Africa Today show at night, because later we shall be having other conversations, and maybe tomorrow is when you can join the panel. And I also see you're saying that climate change is a scam. Of course it is a scam. It is a scam, my brother. It is a scam. And you're also saying that Joby kindly eat organic African food. Man, I do. Trust me, I do. I like mingwashe. I like mindoma. I like murenda. I like kales. I like kales a lot, actually. I like spinach. I didn't used to love spinach, but I'm becoming a lover of spinach. I love what else? I love me organic food. Smart J. So when I'm speaking of KFC, is just a one-time thing, spoiler for me. Like, I just love spoiling myself with some KFC. I love chicken in general, okay? Whether KFC, whether wet fried chicken, whether fried chicken, I love chicken. and I just can't get enough of it. Okay, that's just me. And you're also saying that, how about an ugali burrito job? Nah, thank you. I'm passing too. I'm not taking none of that. Thank you. Ugali comes with either the chicken, the white fried chicken, either kale, spinach. I don't like cabbage. Yeah, I'm not doing none of that. I'm not doing none of ugali burrito. No, I'm good. And just to see you saying you love spinach, that is nice. I used to eat spinach a lot. I used to feel like it's a lot of iron for me. Like I used to eat spinach a lot, so I never used to be a fan. John Mosquito says igusi and pounded yam is good. It's very delicious tasting. I really love that. I like their ugali, the pounded yam. That is the Uganda, but the Ugandan one is brown. This is why we say Africa, we have the same cultures. It's just we apply them differently. Because if you try to look at the pounded yam and the ugali in Uganda, is the same. The difference is the color. It's kind of the same thing. And I also see Ghost anasema we mimi hata sielewi chenye mnaongelelea hapa, nitarudi time ya ngoma. Wewe ishia bro. Wewe kuja time ya udaku, tuta link up mabadaye, kuja time ya umbea na masaya ya vitu zingine. And I also see Kid says exactly 100% the cultures are the same. It is the same because it's just we apply different. We apply differently. Sinovi also says that the Nigerian people need to wake up. They do not realize the danger they are in. Well, I mean, until your stomach touches your backbone, like Kid says it, then I think that's the only time you can understand that something is not working. But personally, for me, I'm waiting for Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali to develop. Then I want to see if Africans are still going to remain dumb and stupid. The majority of those who have no clue of what is happening. I just want to say that. If Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso wakes up, like literally develops, and we've seen they're creating nuclear plants, they're creating their own companies to process their own resources, like they're creating amazing things that the Western foreign powers have failed to do. So if this tends to happen, and we will see no Burkinabe people in Kenya or in Nigeria, literally all of them being employed. If this does not pose a question to all of us, then something is wrong. We need Jesus for real. We will need us some Jesus for real. And also see Jibajaba, you're so like, you like sweet potatoes? I don't know if you like number one. Okay, yeah, that is I like me sweet potatoes. They're really good, and really they're really good. So I'll give you guys story another day. Not today. Not today is on a Thursday. We used to do Thursday stories, by the way. We need to go back to that. I'll give you a story about sweet potatoes, yams, with my father, and what he used to do with those things. But to the major conversation of the day is about the same three countries I'm talking about, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, where we can see African young leaders have held their defense talks with Putin despite the US warning. And of course, this is for them on how, because we've been seeing them creating amazing defense forces, amazing military. They're trained. They're also inviting youths who are willing to help them tackle with the jihadists to come and join the group. And it's amazing. But we've been seeing the US, all of the Western powers are threatened by this, and Russia's move towards helping Africa. But let me share this.
Here is your latest Africa news.
African leader holds defense talks with Putin despite US concerns. Niger's transitional leader, Abdurrahmane Chiani, and Russian President Vladimir Putin have committed to coordinating efforts to combat terrorism in the Sahel region, where Western military groups have suffered setbacks leading to a rise in terrorist attacks in the Sahel. According to the Kremlin, the issue was discussed on Tuesday when the West African nation's military ruler spoke to Putin by phone to express solidarity with Moscow following last Friday's terrorist attack at Crocus City Hall, which killed 139 people. In discussing the bilateral agenda, the leaders expressed determination to step up political dialogue and develop mutually beneficial cooperation in various spheres, it stated. The talks between Putin and Chiani took place despite the US warning Nigerian authorities against establishing relations with Russia and Iran. Moscow and Niamey had previously agreed to strengthen bilateral military cooperation and work together to stabilize security in the Sahel region, which has experienced decade-long extremist violence. Nigerian Prime Minister Ali Mahamani Lamin Zaina has stated that Niamey's authorities will only cooperate with partners who respect their sovereignty. Niamey's new leadership, which took power after the ouster of pro-Western President Mohamed Bazoum in July, revoked an agreement with the US on March 16th that had allowed some 1,000 American troops and civilian contractors to operate in the landlocked nation. Colonel Amadou Abdraman, a military government spokesman, accused a US delegation, which was in Niamey to negotiate the renewal of the Security Pact, of attempting to deny Niger
That was last weekend.
the right to choose its own partners and types of partnerships capable of truly helping them fight against terrorism.
Exactly, because we've had the UN peacekeepers who have failed. And I do remember when we had, that is Niger, actually the 3 countries, we've seen them kicking out the UN peacekeepers, literally trying to break all the ties that they had with these fake organizations that are in the name of we are helping. So this is something positive, and this is what we see ECOWAS, the US, the UN, the EU, the fake AU threatened about, because this is now what Africa and how the rest of the African countries should be working. That is what they are threatened about. Power, because that is what is being applied right here. Power.
The Pentagon has denied the allegations, with Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh claiming that the US team had only expressed concerns about the coup leader's ties with Moscow and Tehran. Since taking power last year, the military government has taken measures to sever ties with Niamey's former partners.
Power. Since taking what? Power. Not being selected, you becoming a president, is you taking power into your own hands. That is what Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso have done.
Citing their failure to quell jihadist violence in the Sahel, which had been the goal of their engagement. France completed the withdrawal of its troops from Niger in December after Niamey's military rulers ordered them to leave, accusing the former colonial power of internal meddling.
Of course.
They now want the US military out for illegal occupation of Niger.
Yep.
Washington has, however, ruled out disengagement from the former French colony. Last Thursday, Celeste Wallander, the Pentagon's Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs, told Congress that the U.S. was seeking clarification from Niger's government about the cancellation of the defense agreement and was working to find a way for American troops to remain in the country.
Exactly, because remember the video I was sharing that was, I think, last week on Monday, where we saw the U.S. Congress talking about, you guys remember that video I was sharing? Then you saw the U.S. Congress, them talking about their impotence in Africa, the impotence of their presence in Africa. And they mentioned that them not being in Burkina Faso, Niger. They mentioned a couple of countries that they are not involved, that they are not in physically, you know? And this is all about resources, nothing else. Nothing else. Exploitation of resources. That was on my last week's conversation. Check it out. All about resources. Their presence is not helpful right here. Actually, the moment we allow them right here, and which is what Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali have been able to discover, is the more we allow these people here, the more the problems continue. Because we're talking about the Hegelian dialectic method being used right here. They are not willing to leave. They are willing to maintain their presence right here to continue making Africans dependent on them, dependent on their useless powers, dependent on nothing but just genociding people. And it is so sad to see that Africans and these puppet leaders have agreed knowingly that it is all about genociding African people, nothing else. You literally, and all of them should actually be questioned and executed about this. If you did sign any deals of allowing the UN peacekeepers, knowing that they are not here to maintain peace, You signed any deals to send your troops to Haiti, knowing that you're going to literally genocide your people on a war you never began, not even included in. You should be answerable. Those are some of the things we need to do. If Africa becomes a state, we build our own international court, right? Like our own Africa court right here to deal with our own cases. Those are some of the things we need to do. Go back to the leaders who are there, who have been there, who are still there, who we don't want there, to give us answers. And if not, a death penalty should be returned back. I didn't know that they did take out the death penalty because of these foreign people who come in the continent of Africa. That was the main reason. I didn't know why we never had death penalty in Africa till yesterday. Oh, it's because of the Chinese, the Indians, the Mzungu. If they come and, you know, do their crazy, behaviors right here, including spitting on your face, they should not be judged. They should not be questioned in the continent of Africa. They should go back to their government let their government handle their issue. Because you are an African, these are Chinese, you don't understand a Chinese. Does a Chinese understand an African? Does an Indian understand an African? Nowhere. It's a high time Africa will look for a balanced situation. We can't keep on talking about cooperation, which we see finally the rest of the African countries are realizing is never working. It's a cooperation that favors only one party, but the other party suffers the consequences of signing this cooperation. You are the Abid right here. You are literally Abids. Yeah, we realized that yesterday, Abid, what it means, if you guys can remember. Shout out to all my Abids in the building. This is crazy, man. This is so insane. Pardon the joke, but that is just the truth. We are still slaves to our own masters. While we're here every single day, every year, you see Uganda has celebrated the 60th anniversary of independence. Kenya, we shall be attending, I think, the 66th this year, if I'm not wrong, year of independence. And more on. We are about to get to 100 claiming independence. Can you imagine? We're about to get to 100 year claiming independence that we don't have. Shame on us. Shame on our leaders, shame on the African continent, and shame on the Western powers, because this is all they are doing. But at the same time, shout out to my people, because we are rising. It is a shame on us because we've been sleeping, we've been miseducated, we didn't know much, but it is a shout to us. It is a shout out on us because we're waking up, we are rising. And as much as we can see their population decreasing, their population collapsing, ours is rising. And that's why they want to battle, they want to fight us, they want to depopulate us, LGBTQ agenda, you know, VACCINE agendas, family planning agendas, and all that. We just need to be careful. We need to be very, very careful. But anyway, family, that is I'll wrap it up. I have nothing much to say. I wish I could continue with much more of the conversation of what is happening. I can see news coming in. We have a deadly cyclone that has hit the northern parts of Madagascar. And I can also see, there's a lot happening, but we can discuss all of that maybe later tonight. For those who shall be with us on the radio station, remember to catch up with us, or maybe tomorrow, wherever we shall be continuing from. But that has been the news and updates that I've had for you today. What is happening in today's Africa? What has been happening for the last 24 hours. And I hope you guys have enjoyed today's conversation. I was to share a video by Professor Lumumba, but man, I can't with his mumble talking. I just can't. So what I'm going to do is just share the link right here for those who would love to maybe catch the video and see what he's talking, because he's literally talking about colonial system, you know, how the colonizers have been benefiting from Africa. And this is not the first time we see Professor talking about this. Again, when we're talking about the numbers yesterday, You know, this is why we question, because this guy we see, and we know he has a mass influence of numbers. He does. But why can't his numbers create a revolution? Why? That is just a question I always have. Why wouldn't they create? Why hasn't he been able? Because he has actually helped Dr. Arikana. Who else? We have so many Pan-Africanists and so many Pan-African groups that are formed right now, but so many African youths. So you want to tell me, with all those mass of influence, if you are a true Pan-Africanist, you cannot form, of course, a revolution? Of course, you know, if you try it, you're going to be assassinated. They're going to Patrice Lumumba you, not Professor Lumumba you. They're going to Patrice Lumumba you all the way. But anyway, family, I'm coming to the end of today's conversation. It's been amazing. Hope you guys have enjoyed. And let me go through the comments a little bit before I get to wind up. I see that Sinovia was saying that the Nigerian people are so busy with Jesus. I will not read that directly what she wrote. To the point of blindness. They are. I feel like, again, this being the most populated country, them being, I'd say they are smart in a way, only when it comes to scamming, and in a way, but they are dumb. Like I said, politically, I feel like they are dumb. They are dumb politically. I feel like they are dumb. With all that mass of population, I feel like they're kind of dumb. But at the same time, I feel like this is the most religious country with all the, can you imagine, 256 different ethnic languages? What if I can see this in Kenya, where we have they're called the Anglicans, I don't know, the different type of names. We have the Anglicans, I can't mention all of them. We have the Kikuyu's church, we have the Luo's church, we have the Luya's church, we have the C's church, we have all types of churches. Now you make it make sense about Nigeria. We have Igbo, we have, I don't even know the languages. All of them. So they're really blinded. It would make a lot of sense, you know, why they'd be blinded. But I also see Jiba Jaba was answering back to you and saying that at this put in deep fake Bible, fake black Bible icon, and they'll hook up for another 500 years. It is crazy. And you're saying the power to our people. Exactly, that is right, Sinovia. Power to our people. And I also see Jiba Jaba says the bubblegum live on TV. Make it a national holiday. I know. That is what Nigeria should have done yesterday with the Chinese businessman who killed the Nigerian lady in 2022, who has now been sentenced to death. That should be an example. But who is Tinubu? You expect Tinubu to go meet Xi Jinping and to come and assassinate Chinese? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? And also see saying Sinovia that oh hell no. The foreigners need to be prosecuted in the country they committed the crime in. Exactly. And they are getting away with the murder. The same way with the British soldiers right here in Kenya. That is what they have been doing, and they have been achieving this every single time. And the Jiba Jaba says that good talk. Thank you so much. I appreciate for enjoying the conversation. Shout out to K. Williams who says, free Joby. You be free because you didn't catch up with my show early. But anyway, karibu sana. And at the same time, kwaheri because I'm winding it up right here. And I say, you see, Jiba Jaba say that my don't gestures turn the sewage into wine. I know. Shit. Shit. I know, it is crazy. It is super, super crazy. But I also see Keith say it's a great show. I appreciate Keith. And to everyone who has been with us, asanteni sana for enjoying today's conversation. Kindly remember, if you shall be catching this on a replay, do leave your comments down the comment section. I do appreciate those who do leave their comments behind. I do check majority of you, and you do leave your comments behind. Even to the new people who find us, kindly subscribe and give us your thoughts regarding everything we've discussed and debated right here. This has been the Pan-African Bliss Show. Remember to catch up Shmani and Kamlesh on the BHFN Countdown, which is coming up next, and we shall be coming back later on or rather with the Black Kings frequency. See what is happening, what is popping, and what we shall be debating about today. Nonetheless, have an amazing rest part of your day. Peace.
All the way in Switzerland, and you're tuning into the Black Fire Radio, and you're listening to Yes Massive Wagwan. I'm Jerome Benson, your Jamaican brother there, reaching out to all the massive on the African continent, and you're tuning into the Pan-African Bliss Show with your host, none other than Joby, from Monday to Friday.